we were talking about your playing days and all earlier. When you talk about after you graduated, where you went to scuba?
After I graduated? No, I went in the Navy. I knew, you know, with four of us boys and the Korean War just got started, I didn't have any choice. I had to either go in the Army or Navy or some branches of the Armed Services. So my dad had been in the Navy. Actually, he was in the Merchant Marines, and that kind of rubbed off on us. And he had a lot of pictures, you know, and so I joined the Navy. And with, boy, you asked about a while ago, George Danny, and I went through boot camp in San Diego. And then we got separated, and he went on an aircraft carrier, and I went on an ammunition ship in Korea. So, and I was on that same old ship for 4 years, and Keith, a lot of bad memories, but a lot of really good memories. I got to travel a lot. I got to go to a lot of different countries, you know, and saw a lot of different people, and so it's good and bad, you know.
Yes, sir. Were you in some battles, naval battles?
Well, not actual battles. I saw a lot of shooting, but we were an ammunition ship, and what we did, we went up and down the coast giving ammunition to cruisers and destroyers and aircraft carriers, and that's what we did. We would usually, we called it staying on the line. At least that's how they referred to it. When we'd stay out 2 to 3 weeks giving ammunition to them, and then we'd go back to either Sasebo, Japan, or Yokohama, Japan, and load up and then go right back. That's what we did until the war was over.
And then after the war, you went to scuba at that point?
Yes, I was, we got out, and it was almost impossible to get a job back then. I mean, any kind of job. And I moved over to, and stayed with my brother. He was working in I tried to get a job in Mobile, and I couldn't, but anyway, Ivan Jones got Lowell and me a tryout in scuba. And so this was right after I got out of the service. So Lowell and I go up
55 maybe? Was this 1955 or thereabouts?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And Coach Jones got us a tryout, and he and I went up there and tried out, and both got a scholarship offer. So that I was tickled to death, you know, because I couldn't find a job doing anything. And so I've always been very appreciative for him, you know, giving me especially giving me a scholarship sight unseen, you know. But he liked veterans because he had quite a war record. I'm sure you probably read about it.
Talk about that.
Well, he was a machine gunner, and he evidently, this is not a good thing to talk about, he evidently killed a lot of people, a lot of Japanese. And you probably read about it in his book, but he told us several times just before a ball game, usually, you know, about one time when they were on this hill, and the 6 of them got together and put their hands together and vowed that the Japanese wouldn't take that hill. And this next morning, there's one left. He was just a great guy. He got shot himself. One of his buddies got shot, and he picked him up and was running with him to safety, and then he got shot through the leg with a machine gun. But that was the reason for his 5 stars, you know, on the that's not a good, easy thing for me to talk about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He was, I've heard he was much of a man.
He was. You know, he wasn't only just a good coach. He was a, I don't know if Lester ever had him for classes. Did Lester ever have him for classes?
I can't remember if he had him for classes or not.
I did, my wife did, and we both said he was the best teacher up there.
What subject did he teach?
He taught history and anthropology. Super sharp guy, and he when I went up to coach with him, he was working on his master's degree in Mississippi State. And back then they gave you like 3 or 4 hours for a GRE test, you know, the final test. He went up there in 45 minutes, finished, and made the highest score in the history of school.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Goodness.
He's a sharp guy, super sharp guy.
Yes, sir. Very good. Well, you were at scuba for 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
And then you went?
I went to Bay Minette.
To Bay Minette?
Yes. I had a chance to, I think I could have gone to Howard College. They had an opening for assistant coach. And I went over and interviewed for the job, and I thought I had the job. And then right after that, I got the offer to, and I didn't want to be assistant coach anymore. I wanted to be the head coach. So when I got an offer to go to Bay Minette, I took that. And then
what year did you come to Fairhope as an assistant?
In 1960. Right after I got out of school, I was lucky, Keith. I did something I shouldn't have done. I was offered 4 different jobs all over the country, and I accepted all 4. But Fairhope was the last one, and I knew a good many people in Fairhope, boys that I'd played against and become friends with, and so I like Fairhope, and so that's the main reason for choosing Fairhope.
Well, let me, before we go to your Bay Minette days, just let me throw out some things and just see if you have any memories coaching against Foley when you were at Fairhope.
Okay.
I think in 1960 had all 4 years. I think we had a really good team at Foley. I think in 1960 Foley won like 33-7.
Yeah.
Any recollection of that particular game?
Not really. Foley had a great football team back then, and I think Ivan had started a workout program, and Ivan he had a lot bigger and stronger, I think, than anybody around, which was good coaching on his part. And I'll never forget, we played Foley, and we dressed in that little old building up there, and we walked in. I looked at our board, and I looked at Foley, and I said, we might as well go home. So they had some good football.
Anthony DeMarlo, you remember running back about?
I remember him well, too well. But you know, they had all backs then that, counting his brother or his daddy Lester, and then DeMarlo and
Don
Foster and Chisenhall. All of them got major college scholarships.
I think that 61 game was like 37-0 maybe.
Yeah.
What do you remember about trying to stop them that year?
There wasn't any stopping them. No. They just had a really sound football team. They had a lot of good ball players. I remember I think both tackles one of them went to LSU and the other went to Tulane, I believe. So.
Yes, sir. 62, Stabler's junior year, I think we played over at Fairhope, and it was a 21-7 game. We've got that film, as a matter of fact, and it was a real good game. Any recollections of that?
No, I don't. No, I don't, Keith. I don't have any.
Okay. And then Stabler's senior year out here, 63, I think, was a 20-7 game, maybe. What do you remember about coaching against Stabler that year?
I just remember his ability to. We feared him more if he dropped back to pass and had to run. Kind of like Jerry Middleton, if you remember, used to be for Fairhope. That was the worst. If he dropped back to pass and had to run, that's when he was most effective, and that's kind of the way Kenny was too. But Kenny was, as I said, talking to you earlier, probably the best athlete that's ever been in this county. He just had the natural ability for everything, and as you know, he was a good baseball player. And I remember watching him one time at Organic. When I was at Fairhope, I just went over to see him play. Foley playing Organic. Kenny scored 50 points against Organic in basketball.
Wow.
So, just a great athlete.
Yes, sir.